What's going on, Legionnaires, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. Now for this video, we're going to be getting into Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters, issue number 1. Now if you didn't check out the prequel to this, if you didn't check out War of the Bounty Hunters Alpha, go ahead and check out the link in my description as well as the top of the video. It will get you completely caught up on everything that's been going on in this line. And so far up to this point, we have seen Boba Fett carrying his prized possession, the one and only Han Solo, frozen in carbonite. And as he made his trek through the stars, the carbonite ended up malfunctioning. He required to repair it, stopping on a planet to be able to get it fixed. And while there, he is robbed of Han Solo by an unknown robber. And so now Boba Fett is on the hunt for these thieves. Now this is written by Charles Soule. Art is by Steve McNiven, pencils is Luke Ross. And with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright guys, so issue number 1, it picks us up with an image of Han Solo in carbonite, with his new captors. And right now they're in deep space, in the mid-rim at the Vermilion. And as this ship makes its way in, it docks, only to be met by some kind of hooded individual. And we can't see this individual's face, but she welcomes back Margot and Trinia. Now we know these individuals. We know them from Solo, a Star Wars story. Not only that, but they have played a part inside of the comics. These individuals are attached to the Crimson Dawn. And so up to this point, we can only assume that the Crimson Dawn is not only in operation, but the Crimson Dawn has now stolen one of the most prized possessions in the entire galaxy. Now, our hooded individual isn't worried too much about all of the details, even though one of those details is that they had to steal this from the most notorious bounty hunter in the entire galaxy, being none other than Boba Fett. But she is truly not worried, because at the end of the day, he is one man, and they are the Crimson Dawn. Now this is where we pick up on the smuggler's moon, and Boba Fett arrives at the bar. Talking to the bartender, his first words are, "Someone's going to die," because someone stole from him. Not credits or anything like that. They stole a bounty that he had to work with Darth Vader to get. And so someone ripped him off, and right now he has no clues, no leads to who it may be. And as he's sitting here having this conversation with the bartender, this is when we see two young hotshots, Tekrit and Nalita. And right now they're trying to get their big score. They're trying to make their name as bounty hunters. And as he's sitting here going through the lists, he sees a bounty for the most ridiculous price he has ever seen. A bounty that would set them both up for the rest of their lives. A kind of bounty that you would only have to do one job and you could retire. The only catch is that that bounty is Boba Fett. Someone has put a bounty on his head, and Tekrit thinks he's going to take advantage of this. And with Boba Fett having his back turned, talking to the bartender, he looks over at a glass and sees the young alien coming up to him with a pistol drawn. And not breaking one sweat, we see Boba Fett grab his rifle that is sitting on the counter. He turns and does a 180, blasts the kid away in an instant, turns around like nothing even happened. And the bartender asks him, "Do you have any idea what that was about?" And Boba Fett, he's just like, I really don't know. It could be anything. It could be vengeance. It could be a grudge. It could be a number of things, to be honest. And so with no more answers, Boba Fett decides to leave the bar, and he sends a message to Bib Fortuna, the kind of right hand of Jabba the Hutt, and lets him know that he's on the way with Han Solo, but he got a little bit sidetracked, but he will be there. He will deliver the package. And as Boba Fett goes to make his way onto his ship, he doesn't realize that there is an explosive booby-trapped. And as he climbs on board, the explosion goes off and it sends Boba Fett flying in the opposite direction. And this is where we see the bounty hunter, Zuckuss. Now, Zuckuss tells him that he has some questions for him, but Boba Fett, he isn't going to sit here and just do what he wants. And so shooting a rocket off, we see his jetpack ignite. He goes flying into the air with dual pistols ready to fight back. But Zuckuss has a small ability to be able to predict the future, and he knew exactly what Boba Fett was going to do here. And that's why he had his companion waiting on top of the ship to knock him out of the sky. And so Boba Fett, he throws down his weapons and comes down to the ground. And he asks him, what this is about, because there's no bad blood between them, so he can't understand why he's doing this. If you're gonna ask your questions, ask them. And they ask where Han Solo is, because they searched his ship and they found no sign of him. And so they figure that he has to be stashing Han Solo somewhere on the planet. And Boba Fett, he is super insulted right now. He's like, you didn't just hurt my ship, you were inside of my ship. Like, the disrespect, man. That vessel belonged to my father. And this is where we see him touch some things on his arm, and the guns on the ship, they turn down. Boba Fett ignites his jetpack, and the guns open fire on everything in their way. But this doesn't kill Zuckuss, but he is left hanging here off of an edge. And he tries to make a bargain with him. He tries to tell him his future. Tries to tell him that his future is full of red. And that he ends up drowning in all of this red. And this is obviously a reference to him falling into the Scarlet Pit. But Boba Fett doesn't care to hear any more of what he has to say. And this is where we see him kick him, and he goes falling to the ground. And this is where Boba Fett goes up to the droid sidekick. He cuts its head off because he wants some answers. He wants to know exactly what the heck is going on. And so he brings it on board his ship, and he attaches it to the computer system. And this is where it starts to divulge the information that he's requiring, letting him know that there's been a bounty placed on the head of Boba Fett, an open contract available to any hunter to bring him in dead or alive, and if there is Han Solo along with them, that will be an added bonus. Now, Boba Fett, obviously, he can't have this. He can't have every bounty hunter in the entire galaxy trying to kill him, trying to make a name for themselves because they're the ones that took down Boba Fett. Especially when he's trying to hunt down the individuals who stole Han Solo from him. And so he needs to know who did this, who placed the bounty on his head. And that's what will bring him to Tatooine, to the palace of Jabba the Hutt. And we see him make his way up to Jabba's palace. Coming up to the gates, he is met by Bib Fortuna. And Bib really tries to play that BS diplomat crap we know he always does. Trying to be the snake in the garden. Trying to tell him that we can resolve this without having any violence. And Boba Fett tells him straight up, no, wrong answer. And this is where we see Boba Fett gun down both of the guards next to him. And tells him, I want information. I want it, and I want it now. Jabba put a bounty on my head. Why did he do this? And Bib tells him that he was taking too long, that Jabba the Hutt was getting impatient. And he had recently heard that someone else had Han Solo, and so they assumed that he sold him to another client. And since Jabba had first claim, they deemed it only necessary to end up killing Boba Fett for his betrayal. And he tells him, he wasn't sold, he was stolen from me. And I want to speak to Jabba the Hutt so I can clear all of this up now, because I can't go find Han Solo if I have every bounty hunter after me. But the issue is, Jabba the Hutt is not currently here. Right now, Jabba the Hutt is in hyperspace upon the war barge of Jabba the Hutt. And he's having a meeting with the rest of the Hutts. And right now, they're discussing this new Crimson Dawn that has appeared, because they're not sure what to make of it. But to Jabba, it doesn't matter if the Crimson Dawn is fake or if it's someone just trying to take up the name for credibility purposes. They've proven to him that they have Han Solo. And so Jabba, he doesn't care. He doesn't care one bit who these people are. He just wants his prize. But the worry is, if the Crimson Dawn truly is back, there could be some destabilization within the entire galaxy. It could cause a lot of trouble for the Hutts and their business. But Jabba truly isn't worried. None of them are, because the Hutts have become so powerful that if they do present a threat, they'll be able to squash them out without any issues. But no matter what's to come for the Hutts, they are going to be prepared, and they are going to be ready for whatever is going to be coming for them. Now this is where we pick up with Boba Fett and Bib again, and Bib is telling him that Jabba the Hutt got an invitation from the Crimson Dawn. That's where Jabba and the rest of them are currently heading. They're heading to this meeting with the Crimson Dawn, with the people that stole Han Solo from Boba Fett. Now this is where we see all of Jabba's little minions appear at the front gate, and it seems like the tables have turned, but this is when Boba Fett turns to all of them and tells them, you know, my name is Boba Fett. You know what that name means. All of you want to live. Who doesn't? But he promises them, if you fight me, some of you are going to die, maybe most of you, and you'll be dying for this guy off to your side. And he tells them that, like, does that really seem fair? And everybody's just like, nah, we're not gonna fight for this guy against Boba Fett. And so Boba Fett tells Bib that I want to see the invitation that was given to Jabba the Hutt. And seeing this invitation, we see our cloaked, our hooded individual telling Jabba the Hutt that they want to have a meeting, inviting them to present alongside representatives of the great galactic powers to witness the return of the Crimson Dawn. And she continues on, letting them know that they do not wish to antagonize or cause friction or upsetting existing arrangements, that they only wish to engage with galactic society and to do business and prosper, and saying that allowing them to continue on, it will be very useful for all organizations involved, particularly like things like acquiring Han Solo, who they stole from Boba Fett. And now they are offering it as a free gesture to Jabba the Hutt. And so she welcomes them all to come join them in the celebration on Jakara. And Boba Fett says, you know, when I started all of this, I said someone was going to die. Someone was going to pay for stealing Han Solo from me. And now I know who I have to kill. And that's what will take us to the mid-rim in Jakara. Now, our cloaked individual, she's asked why Han Solo? Like, what is so important about a smuggler? But she tells her, for this to work, for this to be important, we had to have somebody important. Somebody that's going to get the attention of the entire galaxy. Because somehow, this loner smuggler is involved with every major power in the entire galaxy. From the Alliance to the Empire, all the way down to Jabba the Hutt. Han Solo is somehow intertwined in all of this mess. Either they love him, they hate him, they owe him, or they need him for something. Han Solo unites the galaxy, and that's exactly what they need right now. And she says, you know, Han Solo always wanted to save her, and now he'll finally get his chance. And this is when it's revealed that the hooded individual, the cloaked woman, is none other than Qi'ra. And we remember seeing her in Solo. In Solo, A Star Wars Story, we saw her working for the Crimson Dawn, working for Darth Maul. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Personally, I have been thoroughly enjoying this line so far. It's always fun to fill in the gap where the movies don't really give us much information. And that's the great thing about comics and books. You know, one of my favorite Star Wars books is The Rise of Darth Vader. Everything taking place after Order 66 is put into place. And we see Anakin Skywalker dealing and coming to terms with him really becoming who he is, becoming Darth Vader. And so while I've never been a hugely dramatic or hugely vocal fan of Boba Fett, I do have to say that this story is truly a lot of fun. You know, it's really awesome getting to see Boba Fett make his way through the galaxy with one of the most prized possessions any bounty hunter could have right now, next to having Boba Fett himself captured. And now we see the arrival of Crimson Dawn, possibly making a comeback. Who knows exactly what's going on with them, but it seems like old girl may be leading this operation. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button. Oh, excuse me. Hit that sub button, hit that notification bell. Make sure you're not missing any of the content we have coming out. And until the next breakdown.